Hey everyone, so again today we're going to be looking into a new program called RealFlow which simulates fluids. So basically this is the first thing that pops up and you just want to name your new project, so we'll call this Waterworks Display. Yeah, I think that'll do, nothing too complicated. Say create new project and then you get greeted with all these weird symbols and buttons and information. So basically, we just want to move this away and give us a bit more room here. So let's just start mucking around. So basically, to create your first water simulation, let's go and make a vase. And a small little thing turns up, and if you press 0 on the keyboard, we can see it's shaded now instead of being a wireframe, and it's 7, 8, 9, and 0. Work your way up. Alright, let's press W so we can move it around. And now let's just scale this vase up. Just make it. And we're going to try and simulate some water pouring into it like you see in all those fancy Coke commercials and stuff. Okay. Now we need something to tip into that. So we're going to try and make a particle simulation that pours liquid into this vase. So let's go in here and let's make a circle. So this will be emitting our water simulation particles that will go into here and then bounce around in here. So basically it's just pretty simple. You just aim this arrow towards where you want the particles to go, and let's just make this a tiny little hole that the water can come out of. Okay, I'm going to just make it at a bit of an angle so it can kind of hit the side. And you can come and keyframe this as well. So let's make a position key. So you can just either press K. So we'll just rotate it K, and then maybe to about there. And maybe move it in a bit and then move it down. Okay. And now you can see that if we scrub through it now, it's animated this particle emitter. Alright, so if we move it there, just another K, so it's just going to be spraying water everywhere. Groovy. Alrighty, there's a couple of things that we want to adjust on this. Let's turn up the speed to about 8. And let's turn up the resolution or density to maybe about 3000. Resolution to 2. Actually, let's just leave that at 1. Perfect. And viscosity, let's make that about 2.5. That should be wonderful. And if your computer can't handle this many particles, just turn this down to like 10,000 or something. I'll just turn this down to maybe 20 million. Yeah, let's just chuck it. Let's chuck that 0 on there. Perfect. Alrighty, and now we'll want to try and see some mesh so we're not seeing all these dots everywhere. So let's just go up here to this green orb and make it a particle mesh. Alright, and press the simulate button. And now you can see that it's simulating, it's hitting the side, and we just created our first very own particle simulation. So I'm thinking maybe that's not enough water. So let's just go in here, and it's just this simple. You can just come here and then turn it up and then try this again. And that's looking pretty damn good. Water's flying everywhere. It's almost its own little festival. And then when we're finished with this, we can just pretty much export that mesh into 3ds Max or Maya, whichever one you work on, and we can just shade it, make it look like water, make the glass in like see through like a normal glass is, and it will be really, really cool. Alright, now one problem that we're having is we haven't added any gravity. So you can see everything's flying. It's like nothing's pushing it down. So that's really simple to fix. We just go in here and we just find the gravity and press W and move that out. And now you'll see it will look even more realistic. Everything's falling dynamically. And as it hits, it's going to have force. It's going to hit the ground. It's going to splash everywhere. It's going to be really cool. So it's going to look even more realistic now. And of course, the way you make it look more dense and more realistic is the way you add more particles in it, because it's going to add that extra detail. And other ways of us customizing it, we could even come in here, back into the water settings. We could add a bit of surface tension so it doesn't break away as easy, so we can maybe make that 1.2. And maybe we could even turn down the viscosity, maybe make that 1 as well. And we could make the internal pressure maybe a little bit more, and maybe the external pressure maybe 1.5. And let's make the density maybe 5,000, and let me make this maybe 3 million. And let's simulate that again. Let's see what happens this time when it hits. The whole goal of this is just to make it look like a normal simulation of water. You don't want it to look too funky. And that's looking pretty good. If I was pouring it from that angle, a lot of splashes would be coming off. And these little dots here won't look like that in post, because we'll add some motion blur in there, and it will turn out a lot nicer. It won't be little perfectly round balls. And when we get into 3ds Max, see how it's all kind of on the outside. You just scale it up by like 0.5, and then all this outside will be perfect. See, we can even simulate. So if we have like play this back for once. That looks pretty good. Maybe we'll just turn the viscosity up maybe to 4. It's all about playing with it. So what I'm thinking I want to do is once it gets to about there, I want to make it look like the whole bottle's being poured over on itself. So let's go in here. Let's just say reset. Yep. So in here, bam, and then turn this over. And now I just want to make it look like the whole bottle's being poured. So let's make this really wide and press K. Perfect. And K again. So now let's simulate this. So now the whole bottle's being poured in. And splash. Since we turn up the viscosity, it's not going to like go everywhere as much. So it's going to look more like a heavier liquid. So in that case, so if we play that back quickly. Yeah, maybe let's just turn up the speed, maybe to 9. And chuck some more particles in there. And make this maybe, make that about 7,000. And maybe let's make this about 3.2. Alrighty. Yes. Alright, let's just start that again. So, small bottle, it's being tipped, it's getting gradually larger because most of it's going to get poured in soon. It's getting bigger, it's getting bigger. It's hitting the ground. It's splashing now. That's gonna look good. I think that's the best one yet. Yeah. That looks really, really good. Alright, so we'll just wait for this. We'll just wait for this to render. Alrighty. So we're stopping the simulation now, and I got about halfway. I just wanted to finish this, and so far it looks really, really good. You can see the water's bouncing around really well. Looks fantastic. So basically, now you're saying, oh, but I want to render this now. I want to put in 3ds Max. Well, you can do that. It's got the file, export all, and then we'll say RealFlow bin particle. Alrighty, and then we're sweet to go into 3ds Max.